Today, we are creating a guardian of the dreadful bloodline from our upcoming tabletop RPG Demon Ascendants. We use our quick guide that will be available at Kickstarter launch, which takes players from level 1 to 3 during a short combat focused adventure. Let's start by selecting the dreadful bloodline. They wield the demonic power of shadows, darkness and terror. First, our features. We have increased resilience, allowing us to better withstand direct magic. We are resistant to shadow damage and have increased night vision and reduced sleeping requirements. We also gain 2 starting abilities. Shadow Blend, allowing us to darken our skin, clothing and gear to slip into the shadows. Secondly, we have our ability Dark Sight, where we can empower our vision further and see through the darkness as if it were bright light. These are not spells, they are inherited demonic abilities. Everyone is not a spellcaster, even though they are using magic-like effect. Before we continue here and selecting more demonic abilities, we head over to our Guardian class to set up our character stats. Guardian is the game's tank class who can force enemies to attack us, withstand high amounts of damage and control the battlefield. Here we can see our starting attributes and some additional stats. In Demon Ascendants, all characters at level 1 starts with in between -4 to +4 in their attributes, which are then used directly when rolling dice. On a pure strength check roll, with my value of 1, I would roll and add a 1 as my modifier to the rolled amount. The game uses a d20 rollover system similar to D&D. We continue by adding the values to our sheet. Our starting health is 38, our power is 8 and cores are 2. Power is our demonic energy, allowing us to perform demonic abilities and attacks. Cores are shortened for power cores and are spent only to use stronger abilities and limits how many of those we can perform until resting. A guardian is of the strong characteristics. This dictates what demonic abilities we can select from our bloodline. A rogue or a sorcerer probably doesn't want the same abilities of the bloodline as we do. As of the strong characteristics, we can select abilities like Shade of Thorns, allowing us to coat our body in dark tattoos when attacked, that latches out, dealing psychic damage to the attacker. But it also hurts us in the process. Or Dark Reach, giving us the demonic power to extend the reach of a melee weapon with shadows that wraps around and hits the enemy and drags it towards us. Back to the Guardian. We can select to be proficient in either grappling or persuasion. I'll select persuasion, allowing me to mark this circle right here. Proficient simply means I roll with advantage using the connected attribute as my modifier, which in this case is my charisma. Whoa, advantage you say? Well, yeah, because why shouldn't I? I am proficient, the odds of me failing should be low and the critical failure should be rare. We continue with increased discipline, allowing me to maintain focus and resist provocation. I have a weight limit of 7, which is the highest starting weight for any class in the game. Weight dictates how much armor you can wear without difficulties. There is no armor proficiency or armor class. You can equip any armor you want, but if it's above your weight, you are slower and an easier target. Armor provides direct health, meaning a stronger and heavier armor could be worth it in rare situations, even though you sacrifice mobility. My primary attribute is endurance. So what does this mean? For me as a guardian, endurance increases my weapon skill, which is the chance to hit with weapons, provided it's a heavy or light weapon in my case, and not a finesse weapon. Endurance will also further empower my demonic capabilities. Now that we cleared that up, each attribute influences our other stats, not only the skills on my rolls. All characters start with a speed of 10, allowing me to move 10 meters each round, and an evasion of 10, which is my default way of avoid being hit by attacks. Both of these are influenced by agility, providing half of its value. Intelligence provides me 1 power with each point. Endurance increases my health by 4, strength gives us half its value as additional weight, charisma provides us with inspire, which I will explain later. Wisdom gives us no extra stats, but has the most skills and defenses connected to it. And neither does dexterity, but it increases our ability to fight with finesse weapons. In Demon Ascendants, you don't roll for stats, you place points to increase attributes. We must at character creation place a +2, +1, another +1, a -1 and a -2 into different attributes. I'll put my +2 into my primary attribute, endurance, as it provides me with weapon skill and increased health. My first +1 I'll add into agility to stay somewhat mobile, and the second I'll put into strength, which will increase our damage with heavy weapons. -1 I'll put into intelligence, hoping I don't need it for more power later, and -2 into dexterity, as I just don't care about being stealthy or using puny finesse weapons. These are our starting attributes, which will then now influence our other values. We start with this row here. Speed is 10 and we gain 0 from agility, same for evasion. Our weapon skill is half our primary, so 2 from endurance. We don't have a casting skill as we are a fighter type character. Power willpower is 8 and we gain nothing from intelligence. We have 2 cores and 1 inspire from charisma. And now, what is inspire? To explain, I need to talk about one of the game mechanics called edge. Edge replaces added bonuses of rolls like a +4 to hit and in many cases even advantage. Edge is basically a bardic inspiration from D&D, adding a D4 in addition to your D20 roll. Except here it's stackable, upgrading to a D6 if you gain 2 edge, or D8 at 3 edge. Edge is gained in situations like flanking as an example, but if the target is knocked unbalanced as well, which also provides edge, you now have 2 edge, upgrading the added D4 to a D6. And now inspire. Inspire allows me to grant edge to an attack, defense, guard or charisma based check to anyone who can hear me, so it's pretty damn useful. Next up is brace. For this I need to explain how attacking and guard maneuvers work. All attacks with a result of 9 or less automatically miss. If the result is higher, the defender may choose how they defend themselves by selecting a guard. The basic guards are parry, where you roll with your weapon as if you were attacking. If the result beats the attack, you suffer no damage provided the attack can be parried. Evasion, where you hope the result is lower than your evasion value. In my case, with 10 evasion, this option sucks. The last option is brace, where you brace for impact by spending 1 power. In this case, I just take the hit, but may reduce the damage equal to my brace value. Brace starts at 3 and is influenced by endurance, providing half of its value, so in our case 2, up to a total of 5. Next up is health. We get an additional plus 16 from our endurance, 4 from each, increasing our health to 54. Armor. We have not selected equipment yet, and our weight is 7. Sweet, let's head over to our defenses, which are these boxes between our attributes. Each attribute influences a connected defense with half of its value. All attributes are connected except agility, where instead wisdom is connected, indicated by this little arrow here, meaning wisdom is connected to 3 defenses. To calculate, we take both connected values and add them, then round towards 0. This means our willpower is -1, discipline is 1, fortitude 3, courage is 2, resilience is 0, and reflexes are -2. Then remember, we gain +1 discipline from our guardian, increasing that to 2, and a +1 resilience from our dreadful, increasing that to 1. When you then roll for a defense, these values are used directly with the die roll as a modifier, same as for attributes. Okay, awesome. Our stats are set up. Let's select our weapons. I want a shield and a flail. As you level up, you can train weapons to increase your chance to hit, but for now, we only rely on our weapon skill of 2. So we're adding that into our accuracy. Flail deals 5 plus our strength in damage, putting us at 7 with our 2 strength. It has a critical damage of +6, putting our critical hits at 13 damage. The flail will also help us control our enemies by knocking them unbalanced or even knocking them to the ground if we're lucky. Our shield has the defensive property, providing us with 4 additional accuracy when we use it to parry. We write parry into the blank space here. For armor, we actually selected a weapon instead, but for the sake of this video, I'll cheat. I select the chainmail torso, giving us 6 armor, which directly translates to health in combat. I just want to mention, you can alternatively spend coins to combine any equipment of your choice during character creation. Now, let's check out our Guardian starting features. First, we have Endure, allowing us once each rest to brace for double value without spending power. Not bad. Secondly, Overcrowd, providing our allies with +1 edge when they attack the same creature as us. At level 1, you start off with 2 ability points to learn either abilities from our bloodline or abilities from our guardian class, which provides us with more physical abilities such as provocative attack, where we can force enemies to attack us, pounder to attack for half damage anyway when we get parried, as we just keep swinging our weapon and hammering down our opponent, or stoneskin to reduce incoming physical damage for 1 round. But I really wanted to build a Guardian of Darkness, so I lean more into using both my ability points into the dreadful bloodline abilities already mentioned. I'll select Shade of Thorns, that retaliates with psychic damage to a melee attacker, but damages me in the process. I have a lot of health and I should be fine. Secondly, Dark Reach, which allows us to pull enemies into our melee range and force them upon us. Speaking of health, as you might notice, my damage output is not even close to my health, and yet I will still tell you, combat is somewhat deadly and keeps the same level of deadliness throughout the whole game as everything scales. In our case, we have by far the highest health of all starting characters and probably the least damage. A sorcerer, for instance, starts with 24 health and can deal upwards 15 damage on attacks without rolling a critical. And as you level, your health is not doubled at low levels. Guardian, for instance, gains between 2 to 5 additional health on level up, meaning you are not useless at level 1 compared to level 3. Our last piece of the puzzle is to select our talent and an advanced skill. As you can see, there are plenty of talents to choose from. Talents are meant to provide us with new tools and proficiencies, not boring things like +2 to strength, +1 to hit with bows, or forced options if we want to use a specific type of weapon properly. I selected the Inspiring talent as it fits our kit nicely. This gives us +1 Inspire point and states that our Inspire provides 2 edge instead of 1. We also learn the Warcry ability, allowing us to buff our nearby allies' weapon attacks. Lastly, our advanced skill. I like a narrative option. I'll go for the cooking utensils. Now, as the party takes a rest, we can cook food and provide them with small buffs and increased regeneration. And there you have it, a Dreadful Guardian from Demon Ascendants at 1st level, who is tanky as fuck and have demonic abilities, allowing her to blend into shadows, see through the darkness, use shadows to extend her weapon's reach and pull them towards her, and have dark tattoos latch out from her skin to retaliate towards an attacker. This turned way more into in-depth character creation guide than I planned, but I felt like many things did not make sense if I didn't explain the meaning behind them and how the game mechanics worked. If you enjoy this sort of content, please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel grow. And go sign up to the upcoming Kickstarter for Demon Ascendants later this year in the link below. Hope to see you all in the next one.